I'd like to call the January Rockland Community College Board of Trustees meeting to order. The time is 7:08 p.m. Madam Secretary, will you call the roll?
Mr. Wardenbeck.
Here.
Mr. Rand.
Here.
Ms. Dillon is here. Mr. Valentine.
Here.
Mr. Extra-Ellen.
Here.
Ms. Eckert. Here. Ms. Hilowitz. Here. Ms. Ramos. Here. Excuse me, Mr. Frias.
Here. Thank you. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak to the board? Any public comment? Thank you. Right, tonight we have a presentation, and I'm happy to introduce Mr. Willie Everett, Director of the TRIO Scholarship Program.
So am I asked, good evening, everyone. So I have a PowerPoint presentation. So
Okay.
What is over there?
Very well.
Am I ready? Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Willie Everett. I am the director of the TRIO Scholars Program. But it's been brought to my attention that not everybody may know about TRIO or about the history of TRIO. So let me give you a brief history, but I don't want to take up much of your time. It's kind of crazy because this is like my room because I do the orientations. So when this is filled, I'm at my most comfortable. It's a little bit of people, I feel more nervous. So bear with me for a second. So between 1964 and 1968, the federal government developed 3 programs, right? The Upward Bound program, the Talent Search, and the Student Support Services program. These programs were designed to identify and provide services to individuals with disadvantaged backgrounds. Okay, and these three programs became affectionately known as the TRIO or TRIO. Today's TRIO looks more like this, okay, with 8 different programs. Here at RCC, we concentrate on student support services. So again, I'm Willie Everett, the director of student support services here at RCC. Who do we serve? All right, so primarily we serve first-generation college students that have an academic and a financial need. Okay? So what do we mean by first-generation college student? That means that neither of their parents have obtained a bachelor's degree in America. So they could both have associate's degrees from RCC, and they would still be considered a first-generation college student. Right. Now, a low income so to be eligible, you have to meet 3 requirements. You have to be the first generation college student, you have to have a financial need. So that is determined by you need to be eligible to receive the federal Pell Grant. If you can receive the Pell Grant, then you can be eligible for TRIO. And lastly, you have to have an academic need. Everybody has an academic need. Everybody needs tutoring, everybody needs advising at some point. If they don't, I always joke in orientation, if you don't, you're probably a genius, and then you should start a business. There is a trump card. So if you can not be any of these, but if you are have a registered disability and are registered with our accessibility services program here at RCC, then you are automatically eligible to receive TRIO and TRIO services. Okay, everybody with me so far? Great. And what do? This is the fun part. So my staff and I, we go back and forth on what we call this. But since I'm the only one here, I'm going to call it what I like. It's holistic advising. It is basically in the vein of guided pathways. We take them from the seats when they are here in orientation straight through either graduation or the career choice or career path of their choice, right? So here are some of the resources that we provide: tutoring, counseling, advising, workshops, transfer services, So let me just go through a couple of these. So we have excellent tutoring here at RCC, but first let me back up a little bit. We only have 144 students. We're funded to serve 144 students. Okay? So with 3 advisors in-house, we do our own tutoring, counseling, and advising for the most part. So that means that when our students are looking to do their classes for the next semester, we have it where they cannot do it on their own. They have to come sit with us. So that way we can make a plan with them, adjust the plan as we go along. Sometimes somebody comes here, they want to be a nurse, they can't pass A&P, so we need to make a new plan. Instead of having them go and mess up their whole schedule, waste all of their financial aid, and then find out that they're neither going to be a nurse or get a degree. Right? So we help them to adjust that plan as we go along. For tutoring, we have our own in-house tutoring in English. Well, our specialist, Ian Pena, is a wonderful guy. He was a high school teacher and English teacher. He works here. He's very passionate about this work. He helps our students with writing and editing their papers all the time. But as far as the other parts of tutoring, TRIO students are afforded an extra hour of one-on-one tutoring that extra than what every other student gets, because our funding helps to pay a little extra for tutoring. In-house counseling and advising, we do workshops from everything from time management skills, how to study, transfer services, or when to start your transfer process, helping them fill out their FAFSA and everything else. I have some pictures here. This is just me grandstanding right now. So me working some of the workshops. We go on college tours. We've been to Binghamton University, Albany University, Albany, SUNY Albany. We've been to College of St. Rose. We've been to Temple University, and we're planning an HBCU tour this spring. We're going to do cultural arts exposure for our students, many of which have never been to Broadway or a play or anything like that. So we've been to Once on This Island, we've been to see Wicked, we went to see Donna Summer, we did ballet. So we saw Misty Copeland, and I never need to do that again in my life. I was bored to tears, but it was very, eye-opening for everybody. So our student profile looks a little something like this. I know it's probably hard to read from back there. So our Native American population is 1.5%, 5.7% Asian, 35.7% African American, 7.2% Hispanic, 0.5% Native Hawaiian or Pacific Island, 12.4% white, 28.4% more than one race reported, and 8.2% no response. These last 2 bars are very exciting, if you will. I grew up in a time where if you checked boxes, you were probably either African American or Hispanic, right? So, but now there's more than one race. There's an actual stat that I have to report to the Department of Education, and so is there's no response. There was no option back in school. We checked it out. Our gender breakdown is we are 60% female, 32% male, and once again, another surprising stat is 7.7% other or non-response when it comes to gender. So our goals. So when we wrote the grant, the government gave us some goals to target to try to hit. So persistence rate, good academic standing, graduation rate, and transfer rate. The government is asking us to operate at 81% persistence rate. We are currently operating at 100% persistence rate. That means that everybody who signed up for classes the first semester they here under TRIO absolutely signed up for classes the very next year with TRIO. Good academic standing, the government asked us to be at 80%. We are currently operating at 85.5%, where that's 123 of our students have at least a 2.0 GPA, and I just glanced at it before I walked in here. I got about 8 other people who are about a 1.9, 1.4, so, you know, just a little kick it. I'll get it up a little higher. Graduation rate. Now this one is a little tricky because it's within 4 years. The government is asking us to graduate 30% of the 144 students. That comes out to about 44 students. Currently, right now, we just finished our 3rd year. This is our 4th year. Now we haven't finished it yet. We've already graduated 31 at 22%, but we are well on track to meet or exceed that number. Same thing with our transfer rate. The government is, within 4 years, the government is asking us to transfer at least 40% of our students, which translates to about 57 students. And so far, we've transferred 40 students. That is, some of those are graduates who graduated and then transferred, and others who have transferred before they have graduated. And in those cases, when they are close, we're asking them, we're keeping in contact with those students to see if they've taken the necessary classes that they can transfer back in the summer so they can get their degree here, so they can have something that they can be taken. Am I going too fast?
No.
I'm starting to calm. So these are our goals, but our ultimate goals are always the same. We get to know our students. We become a family. Our students, I have students who write me all the time, tell me about their successes, tell me about their failures, the ones who have left, the ones who are really trying to. I had one student the other day said, they want to take 24 credits. Hold on, can't do it. I want you to graduate. I want you to graduate and have a GPA that you can carry forward with you. Right? I had a student who just had a baby who wanted me to go to the christening of the child. Right? So we really become a family with our students. My staff is awesome. My coordinator, Angie Nelson, she is like the mama bear. She loves hard on all the students. She gives them tough love. But with you know, that extra hug on the way out, right? So when they come to my office, it's more of a real talk. Let's close the door. Let's see what's going on. And again, I spoke about the opinion before, right? The program does not run without good staff, and I have an excellent. And once again, the ultimate goal is always to get them from orientation to graduation and have more pictures like this. Whenever you see on the website these red sashes, those are the trio students. Now, when you go back and look at RCC's last graduation, the pictures, you're going to see those all over. Then you're going to go, right? That's true. I want to thank you for allowing me to present to you today, and have a good day.
Can I ask a question? Mr. Everett, I have a question. In our board packet, except I don't have it here in front of me, the part that focused on your program, it said, except I don't remember the right verb, that students have been aggressively, is it encouraged to stay? It was in our board packet. Do you guys remember the verb? And I was just wondering how they responded. Thank you, Ben. How they responded to this aggressive. Do you see what it says?
They have been aggressively approached throughout the semester with opportunities to take advantage of
Thank you.
increased tutoring availability and study
Thank
group space in the trio lounge.
Thank you.
So that's my nice way of putting it this way. I'm calling them up, I'm emailing them, I'm stopping them in the hallways. I'm saying, I saw your last progress report. We do progress reports as well. You got a 67 in your math class. You got extra tutoring time. Come, let's go make an appointment for you up in the tutoring line.
And how did they respond to this aggressive treatment?
Mixed reviews. You know, just, you know,
I'm sorry, I'm
students
just teasing.
are still students. They still duck you when they can. They come in when everything is great. They pop in, Mr. E, I got an 85 on this term. Great, but I heard about the 65. So where was that test? You didn't pop in and tell me about that one. So, I mean, it's mixed reviews. So most of the time, though, a little hand-holding goes a long way. So I really do sit them down, especially if it's in English, sit them down and say, hey, don't submit a paper unless we get to look it over and edit it. if you have a math test coming up, let's get at least an hour a week before you take that test.
Thank you.
I don't really know what I'm asking. I'm
Ask
concerned
me
about
anyway.
those students who have a Q below 2.0, and where are these students gonna go? I mean, are they all college material? Like, I want them to do well.
Right.
How are you doing this?
So those students are the ones that get me the most excited, because what I know is that below 2.0 is not the end of their story. So what we have to do is get more aggressive with the tutoring.
Oh, yeah.
Show them a little more love, stop them in the hallways when I see them. But whenever, so a major component to this is them wanting to, so if they take one step toward us, I'm gonna take 5 toward them, right? So I get really excited about those things. we're not gonna get them all, but we've seen a dramatic decrease in our people who fall below the 2.0.
Do they want to be here then? Did they want this program?
So here's the thing. It's a completely voluntary program, right? So the way we recruit mainly is in the SOAR area. So I tell them about the program. Then they fill out a card, and they have to come to the office. They have to sit down for an interview. They have to tell me their life story. They have to map out a plan. So they want to do it, right? So so if they put that little bit of effort in, I'm going to take the extra couple steps to get it passed.
Yeah, I just have one question. I know in the high schools here in Rockland, there's a high increase of Latino students in our high schools, but your numbers were very low for Latino population. Is there a reason for that?
So the reason, if you were to be a fly on the wall in the offices, the reason those numbers wouldn't reflect what it looks like. So when I showed that the more than one race reported,
Right.
I can't force anybody to check any certain boxes, but I would guesstimate that more than half of those would fall into the Latino or Latinx Hispanic box. So that number is a little off, but it's the one that they check.
Okay.
How did you come up with the number of 144 students? Did you
I didn't.
more or
I didn't. The government did.
Okay.
They told me
They said
exactly how much it was.
144?
Any more?
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Okay.
Have a good evening.
Oh, he does. Okay. Mr. Everett, I want to thank you very much for your presentation on TRIO. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Just thanking you for your presentation.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
I'd like to have a motion to approve the previous meeting minutes dated 12/20/2019. Can I have a motion to approve? So moved, Mr. Chairman. Second? Okay, any questions, comments? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Academic Affairs, Dr. Susan Deere.
You have my written report, but I'd like to highlight a few things. First of all, our 2-in-1 Connection Center, which opened several years ago. And one of the reasons we opened the Connection Center was because 51% of our students who withdrew from class were doing so because of something in life happening. This past fall, that statistic dropped to 22.5%, which actually was miraculous. And so kudos to our 2-in-1 Connection Center and the job that Joe Fappo is doing with our students. The other thing is that we had 149 students actually withdraw from classes last semester. This semester, that dropped to 120, so it's 29 fewer students who were even withdrawing. So that's another really good statistic. The other thing I'd like to highlight is that 2 of our honor students, Pinkas Krazel and Claudia Urrutia, are semifinalists for the John Kent Cook Foundation Scholarship, and this scholarship is pretty substantial. It's up to $40,000. They are semifinalists, and they were selected from a pool of 1,500 candidates across 45 states. We're going to keep our fingers crossed because we'll find out who these scholars will be and if these 2 students won the scholarships in April. That's my report, unless there are questions from the board.
Any questions, comments? Thank you, Dr. Wood.
Thank you.
Vice President Dana Stilley.
Good evening. You have my written report. I do want to highlight just 2 items tonight. You can see from Mr. Everett's presentation how passionate he is about our students. And he had the opportunity to attend a seminar in early December, which was sponsored by the Center for Higher Education Retention Excellence. The seminar was entitled Unlocking the Secret Society, Supporting Success for Men. And he returned very excited about what he was able to learn there, and is in the process of putting together a proposal for another program which we hope to be able to launch, which will be directed at supporting just men who attend the college. So we're looking forward to receiving that proposal and sharing that with you. Additionally, I know you have heard previously from the provost about our Smart Scholars program, which is the program that we are doing in conjunction with the East Ramapo Central School District. That is set to launch on this Saturday, January 26th, and we will have approximately 50 students enrolled in that program. And that is the end of my report for the evening.
Any questions, comments? Thank you, Dana. Finance, Interim Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Joseph Mara.
Good evening. You have in front of you the statement of activities for the 4 months ended December 31st, 2018. As we discussed earlier, there was some issues, but I think we'll be all right. The second thing that I want to mention is that the preliminary budget from Albany has been released. And there was a phone call, a conference call with actually with a lot of the presidents and a lot of chief financial officers today to discuss what Albany is proposing for community colleges, which is basically the same. There was no increase in funding. There is no change to the funding formula. And everybody's just trying to find out, Joanna, Eileen, Christina, is advocacy to presidents, to the board, to talk to legislators to help get funding for SUNY. They did mention that CUNY is going to ask for a $250 increase. So I don't know if SUNY is going to follow suit. I would assume so. But that's what we're up against right now. And the funding, the FTE funding is $2,847 per FTE. So of course, because the FTEs are going down in SUNY, the state is benefiting from actually about $9.9 million compared to last year. Any questions on the report or?
Any questions, comments? Thank you, Mr. Mara. Operations and Strategic Initiatives, Vice President Dr. Beth Clark.
Hello, everyone. You all have a copy of my report. Just a couple of items that I'd like to highlight for you. Starting with the most exciting, a campus-wide electrical shutdown is scheduled for next Friday, not this coming, but the following. That is necessary as we move on to the next phase of our analysis for the arena management area and getting that generator project continuing in that next phase. Also for our combined heat and power system. So hopefully we'll have no surprises during that inspection. Also, construction has been wrapping up at the Nyack Hospitality and Culinary Arts Center. We received the TCO Monday for classes to start on Tuesday. The two immediate hurdles that we have in that area will take place tomorrow, where hopefully we'll have that TCO for the elevator as well as the TCO for the ANSEL system, which is a fire suppression system. Finally, you all know that our Middle Skills Academy was launching. We did start the program with 32 students enrolled in the pilot, generating $126,000. That is clear because we did receive a number of grants to support the program. The first was a SUNY grant for $75,000 that helped us pay for supplies as well as computers and instruction and curriculum development, as well as a couple of other ancillary grants to support the program. Any questions?
Questions, comments? On behalf of the board, we'd like to thank you for your work with the Middle Skills Academy and also with the culinary getting them online.
I'd like to take credit, but I'm surrounded by very talented staff.
Yes, you are.
Thanks.
Institutional Advancement, Vice President Susan Lyden.
Hi, everyone. You have my report, but here's just a quick overview. We're really taking a close look at our functions and departments and staffing and institutional advancement. And we've also been working hard to increase visibility for the college through media. That's been a real focus of ours, and with so many great things happening with the Culinary Arts Center, and there's been a lot of wonderful opportunities, and I see more of that in the future. We're also in strategic marketing, in the process of hiring a student team of workers to ensure that the student perspective is included in all of our initiatives. That's going to be really important for us moving forward, so to kind of reach externally and internally and make sure we get a clear message out there. And we continue, of course, to promote our Middle Skills Academy guided pathways and spring enrollment. And more on the development side, we're again reviewing our process, donor database, gift history, in order to set some real solid targets for the upcoming year, and we're very excited about that. And we're also looking at our scholarship and support distribution process, communications to students, faculty, and staff a little bit more closely. And finally, just big picture, you know, what's really super important for us all around in our development and our marketing, our communications, is just continuing to develop our relationships and tell that great story of Rockland Community College and our remarkable stories and just students and get that information out there. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Lyden. Board Secretary report.
The board will be having a board retreat on June 10th, 2019.
Thank you. Any questions? Student Government, Rafael Frias.
Welcome back to the school year, fall semester. It's just welcome week, so everybody's excited to see who they're with, or we're dreading the fact that they have to take a class. So it's just, here we go. And the SGA meeting is tomorrow, so I'll have more next meeting.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Is there any old or new business? If not, I'd like to entertain a motion. Okay.
We are looking into lobbying whether the SUNY lobbying is going to take place in February, as I said. Mentioned that. I'll be sending an email to the board with regard to dates in March for Board Education Day. And we have a committee made up of Ben, Dr. Deere, and Joe about how the layout of Board Education Day is going to go. Okay.
Any questions, comments? Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second. All in favor? Thank you, everyone, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.